Hello and welcome to the white portion of the Strixhaven, Secrets of Strixhaven limited set review. In this video, we're going over all the white cards. Um, I use a tier 5 tier system to evaluate cards. It's based primarily on draft order as opposed to absolute power level. It's a little bit more of a vibes based system. We try to be vibes based here, but we're just gonna get started with the Johnny's response. 4 and a white instant deals 3 damage. Hold on. Cost 3 less to cast if it targets a tapped creature, destroy target creature. So we've seen this card many times, sort of many flavors of it. This is one of the better flavors. Um, I I do kind of feel, despite the fact that removal is important in this set, there's a number of cards that are just untap and then I win the game. So there is a number of those. I do think the problem is this doesn't help you with this specifically, like, oh, I play a 4 mana spell that if it untaps wins the game, which I think is kind of what I'm most worried about. It's good against some of the dragons, maybe it's fine. I'm I'm usually out on these until the format like says that I'm supposed to be in. This one destroys instead of exiling. If it said exile, I'd move it up, but it doesn't, so yeah. Antiquities on the loose. 1 white sorcery. Create 2/2/2 red and white spirit creature tokens. Then, if the spell is cast from anywhere other than your hand, put a +1/+1 counter on each spirit you control. You can flash it back for 4 white. Yeah, this card's just really insane. The only thing to dislike about it is the double pip nature. I just don't care when the rate is this good. You're getting basically a 3 mana 4/4 that draws like a card also, which is pretty good. There's also like sometimes where like you're just gonna hit this off of an exile spell that like there's a number of cards that exile top card of your library and then you can play it. Like this, if you hit this off of that, you probably just win the game. You just get 3/3 for 2/3/3. Like you're just getting 2/3/3s. And then sometimes there's other like spirits as well. Like that you have like there are a number of things that make spirits. I don't know. This card's just broken. I'm pretty confident in that. Ascendant Dust Speaker, 4 and a white, 3/4 flying. When it enters, put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature you control. At the beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. So, I mean, this is kind of like a gluey common. You're gonna, it's, white's 2 colors, care about either the graveyard or targeting things. Although the targeting things is usually a spell that has to target them, so this doesn't actually do that, which is weird. It's more of a red-white card. I'm not excited about it. When these first came out, like when they first printed the 5 mana 3/4 give a counter to something, it was really good. That was back in the before times, before the play booster era. This was actually pretty good, but we've kind of moved on since then, and they've underperformed for about 2 years now. So I would say that they're yeah, I'm not super excited. I think it's fine. Daydream, single white, sorcery, exile target creature you control, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it, and you can flash back for 2 and a white. Yeah, I don't really like this very much. I mean, you really have to get kind of creative. There are things to do with it, the prepared cards, the things that come in prepared, this works reasonably well with, but not perfectly, because it's still going to cost you mana to get like their ETB, essentially. Um, the fact that you get 2 casts of it, I think, does actually matter. So I'm like kind of into that. You know, there are ETBs in the set. It's not like there's none, but I don't think this is super exciting. Yeah. Dig site inventory. It's just all tier 4s to start for white here, which is weird because I think the color is reasonable, but dig site inventory, single white sorcery, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, it gains vigilance until end of turn, flashback for single white. There's actually a card that just is exactly this card, and I went Sentinel's Eyes instead, but whatever. They've done this effect many times, this type of effect. And sometimes it's okay, and sometimes it's not. I think you'll maybe play this in black white. I mean, you could. I mean, I know it's a flashback. Maybe you do play it in red white too. I'm not picking this highly at all, and so that's why it's in tier 4. Basically, tier 4 is like I could see playing this, but I would never like pick. I would never prioritize picking it over like a real actual card. Eager Glyph Mage, 3 and a white for a 3/3. When it enters, create a 1/1 black and white inkling creature token with flying. I have this in tier 3. I should probably move it up to tier 2. It's a monocolored card, which is it's less important to be a monocolored card in a guild set than it usually is. And I'll tell you what, I'm a little sick of the guild sets. I'm gonna keep it 100% playing. We're doing the third consecutive guild set. This is what happens when your set design is co-opted by a the capitalist machine of Hasbro. But the this is a good card. The fact that you're getting a 1/1 with flying is good. I do wonder how much these have fallen. Like this effect. Like if it just were like a 1/1 that didn't have flying, it would be tier 3. But because the 1/1 has flying, I do think I do think I'm gonna move it up. Yeah, I think it's just good. It's just a good card. Tier 2 might be a little rich, but I'm kind of in. Elite Interceptor, single white for a 1/2, and enters prepared, and has the prepared as a sorcery. You can tap or untap target creature, draw a card. So this is basically Thraben Inspector. It's different, but like it has issues, right? Thraben Inspector is a tier 1 card. It's broken. It's a 1-drop that gives you a 2-drop, all that. This does that as well. It's the 1-drop that gives you a 2-drop, which is a really powerful thing to have. The spell is like pretty relevant in the late game. Like this is a better top deck than Thraben Inspector by a pretty considerable margin. Because you get the effect immediately. I do think the upside of being able to tap or untap something is probably worth the fact that you can't crack the clue token at instant speed in a color that cares about it. This is ostensibly more of a black-white card because you're targeting something, but you could target your own creature. So it's like that's a thing that you could care about. I think that deck might suck. The tier 1 rating on this is also maybe going to get hamstrung by if black-white is truly a terrible deck and you can't play it. Like this card is going to be a lot worse. And you're basically want to draft mono white if you have it. If that's a thing that is sort of, it's actually going to be really hard to draft mono colors in this set because everything is like there's so many multicolored cards and none of them are like hybrid cost. So it's going to be really difficult to draft any monocolor deck. So I would say that you're basically yeah, tier 1's probably a bit rich just because it's you are locking in really. Like there just is no way out here. Like you kind of like I don't think you're gonna be able to draft like blue white in this set. I just don't think that's possible. So when you have this card in your deck, you're either playing red white or black white. If one of those decks sucks, you're gonna be like sad. So all the commons are really of a, like all the monocolor commons are really shaded as a result of that. But we'll see how it plays out. Emeritus of Truce, 1 white white, 3/3. When it enters, target player creates a 1/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying. Then if an opponent controls more creatures than you, um, this becomes prepared, and you get Swords to Plowshares if it's prepared. So this card's extremely weird. I think its win rate might be pretty bad because people might start giving their opponents 1/1s for Swords of the Plowshares, which I'm not sure is like the best trade of all time, and it's a triple white, and the swords is whatever. It's a very good card if your opponent has 3 creatures on board, because you get a 3/3 and a 1/1, and then you. Oh, but they have to have more. I don't know. It's really weird. I don't give your opponent a 1/1 flyer to then Swords to Plowshares their thing. Don't do that. I don't think that's a good idea. I wouldn't recommend that. This card's extremely weird. I suspect that it kind of like plays worse than it reads because you have to. I mean, really, I honestly think the best mode on this card is just 3 mana, 3/3. Give yourself a 1/1 with flying, and then sometimes you get Swords to Plowshares on top of that. It's double pipped. If you treat that as the, I guess it's just like pure upside. The win rate is probably not going to reflect a tier 1 card, but it is a good card. It's double pipped though. Double pipped, double pipped. Double pipped yet again. I'm cool with putting it in tier 1, though. If you just think of it as upside to have Swords to Plowshares like 10% of the time, which is maybe about what you're actually going to get, um, that's fine. And if you really need to give your opponent a 1-1 to kill their thing, it's a mode that exists as well, so that's possible. I think this is probably just good. Should probably just respect it. Endless Debate Moderator, 1 and a white for a 1-1. When it enters, exile up to one target creature you control, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. At the beginning of your end step, if one or more cards are put into exile this turn, put +1/+1 counter on Ennis. I think this is like pretty bad. So it's a 2-mana spell that's not a 2-drop. You can't play it on 2. Although I guess you could. I'd be like pretty depressed if I did though. Like it does work with anything that exiles, which there's some stuff that exiles, but I don't think that's terrible. It's just like the upfront part of it is tough. I don't know. I don't think it's unplayably bad. I mean, I kind of have to see it. Certainly not starting high on it. Erode. Single white. Instant. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Its controller may search the library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield tapped shuffle. So it's a different version of Path to Exile. Path to Exile is a fine limited card. You can play it in some decks. It has its spots where you want it, but it gets overhyped usually by your median limited player. Historically, I don't know if the median limited players have figured out that it's not that good. I mean, it's fine. Like again, I'm not saying it's bad. It's not a bad card. It's an exactly average card, but people do tend to treat it like it's very very good removal. It is not good removal. It's mediocre removal at best. And that's fine. It's like you're gonna have to play mediocre removal in your deck, and so that's fine. You just don't want to be pick one this basically ever. Like I don't think I've ever pick one this in this format, especially like when you think about like what some of the decks in this format want. A lot of the decks in this format want to be going pretty big. Like blue green wants to be going pretty big. I think even blue red like largely wants to be going pretty big. Although there's some tempo elements to blue red. That's 2/5 of the decks. Then you have green black just isn't a real deck, so that's fine. Red white I think is going big as well. So I don't know. I'm not so sure about this. Graduation Day, single white, enchantment. Whenever you cast instant sorcery spell that targets a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. I think this is pretty bad. I want to try it. I'm certainly going to try this card at some point because of all the prepared stuff. It's a black-white card, probably. It's probably not very good. But it's only 1 mana, so you could play it on turn 1, and then you're just kind of getting it the whole game. But then if you don't have a creature in play, you're just like mulliganing in order to have this effect. It's just fine, I guess. I'm out, but you could convince me. I could be convinced on this. You can talk me into this somehow, but I'm out currently. Group Project, 1 and a white for a sorcery. Create a 2/2 red and white spirit creature token. Flashback, tap 3 untapped creatures you control. Yeah, this card's just completely broken. It's just an insane card. You're getting a 2-drop that casts, it gets you another. It's basically like 2 mana to get 2/2s. Obviously, on turn 2, it doesn't necessarily get, like, on turn 2, it's not going to get you the 2/2s. Okay, fine, whatever, who cares? But on, like, sometimes on turn 4, you play this, and then you just tap 3 creatures, and then you get another thing. Like, it just seems insane. I don't know. Free spells are good, and, like, the thing is, like, it's just a good 2-drop, even without the free spells, and if you mill it, it's great, and, like, I don't know. I'm just going to be picking this like it's insane. Maybe it's not completely broken, but I just am going to have a hard time believing that a free 2/2 is not very, very strong, especially because it allows you to get stuff out of your graveyard as well. It's making spirits, which matters, as we've seen. Yeah. Harsh Annotation. 1 and a white, instant. Destroy target creature, controller, creates a 1/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying. We've seen many versions of this. All of them have been pretty bad. This is the cheapest of them. I have heard through the grapevine that commander players tend to like these type of cards a lot. Good for them. I'm happy for them. They're not really limited playable cards. You can bring them out of the sideboard at times if your opponent's like has one card that can beat you, and that's basically all you care about. But pretty niche. I wouldn't recommend. Wouldn't recommend it. Honor-bound Page. 3 and a white, 3/3 with first strike. It enters prepared, and you can. The prepared spell is a sorcery. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains flying until end of turn. It's not bad. Like that's not bad effect by itself. A 4 mana 3/3 first strike, I don't think is great. It's gonna be annoying. It's gonna definitely be an annoying card. You can also play it as sort of like a 5-drop that gives something +1/+0 and flying, which is probably good. I think tier 4 maybe is a bit of a hater, being too much of a hater, but it is a 4-drop. In 2026, it's a 4-drop. You're gonna draft a 4-drop highly. I don't want to draft a 4-drop highly. 4-drops are kind of the new 5-drops. Like back in the day, like you just 5-drops kind of had a ceiling, like a soft ceiling on them in tier 3, and like this is kind of in a similar. This kind of feels like that. It kind of feels like, oh, like this is just. But I mean, it does block really well. It's a first striker on turn 4, so it blocks pretty well. It's tier 4 is probably a bit harsh, I think. So yeah, I mean I think it's okay. Informed Incrite. 1 and a white, 2/2, Vigilance. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, create a 1/1 black and white ink losing creature token with flying. Very good 2-drop. Does just kind of die to removal and then nothing happens, but you know you're gonna be like this thing's gonna pop off a lot. Like it's gonna pop off a lot. I think this is pretty good. I could even move it up to tier 1. It's gonna like you're gonna play it in red white, you're gonna play it in black white, so that's valuable. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. It's good. I think it's good. I think it's a good card. You think it kind of just dies sometimes, which is fine. But it is cheap enough that you can play it and then cast it instead of sorcery spell, or you can cast like a prepared spell like from this guy. You give the prepared spell and then you cast it with this guy, or whatever same turn you play, like you know, that type of stuff. It is real. It is a real thing that you can do, and whenever like if you just cast one spell, you're just insanely happy. Um, kind of want to move it to tier 1. Yeah, let's move it to tier 1. I've talked myself into it. Inkshape Demonstrator, 3 and a white, 3/4 with Ward 2. Whenever you cast a instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, this creature gets +1/+0 and gains lifelink until end of turn. Definitely good when you have that going. I just, how much do you really like? It doesn't block. I put it in tier 3, which is maybe a little bit generous. I mean, the thing is that lifelink really helps like this type of effect. Like these type of creatures where they just kind of sit there and do nothing, and then you do something, and then they gain lifelink and are bigger, and so it's attacking as a 4/4, and it's pretty big, 4/4 lifelink. A lot of lifelink in this set. Just going to be a lot of life gaining going on, I think. Just something to kind of note about the set, and in general could slow it down. Could make it a slower set. Also, Boros is not necessarily the fastest deck in the West, so it really does feel like maybe a slower type format could be upon us here, just because of the life link type stuff. This card is fine, and that's kind of all I have to say about it. If it didn't have ward, it would be very bad, but because of the ward, I'm kind of like, okay, you're probably gonna get this set up, and you can probably do this, and you probably get to attack, and it's maybe it trades off for something, and that's fine, and whatever, and sure. It's finicky and weird, but the ward too is helping a lot. Interjection. Single white instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains first strike until end of turn. Combat trick. It's a fine combat trick. You'll play it in your aggressive decks. You don't want to prioritize it. I really don't have anything super exciting to say about it. Joined Researchers. 1 and a white, 2/2 with first strike. At the beginning of each end step, if an opponent has more cards in hand than you, this creature becomes prepared. And the prepared spell is a sorcery where you and target opponent each draw 3 cards. I don't know if you ever want to cast that. I mean, there's obviously spots for it. I guess what you do is on turn 2 you play this. Like on the draw, no, on the play, on turn 2 you play this. They have more cards than you. On turn 3 you cast the thing, and maybe they end up having to discard one of the cards. That's actually pretty good. Let me do the math really quickly. So turn 2 drop, opponents at 7, cards in hand after turn 1, they probably don't have a 1 drop. So then turn 2, you play this. Turn 2, they play land 2 drop. They're at 6. You cast this on turn 3. They go up to 9. They draw a 10. They play a land. They're down to 9. They can play probably 1 spell. They're down to 8. So yeah, they're probably gonna have to discard 1. So that's actually not bad. Like that's kind of when you want to do this is turn 3. You want to go land 2 drop like this, so that's it's kind of rigid, but it's pretty good. Then that's sort of the best case scenario for this spell. There are other spots, of course, where it kind of does a similar thing, but not usually. But then you're just doing this on turn. You're drawing your opponent 2 cards on turn 3. It doesn't really seem like the best way to spend your turn 3. So I'm not even sure that's good. So just it's something that you can do if you don't have anything else to do on turn 3. But I'm not sure it's super exciting. Later on in the game, there can be asymmetric spots where the cards matter more for you. You do have to pay 3 mana though, so it's almost never good. Like I wouldn't recommend casting it a lot. Just a 2-mana 2/2 for a strike is fine though. Owlin Historian. 2 and a white. 2/3 flying. When it enters Surveil 1. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like a 2-mana 2/3 flyer that surveils. It's also a thing that wears counters very well. There's a lot of things in this set that put counters on stuff. Um, Stuff is going to be leaving your graveyard during your turn. I wouldn't describe it as like the most like it's not going to happen every single turn, but it'll happen sometimes. And just getting 1 surveil is really nice. Practice offense. 2 and a white for a sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. Target creature gains your choice of double strike or lifelink until end of turn, and you can flash it back for 1 and a white. This might be really good, actually. I mean, so I don't like these type of cards, right? And so normally these type of cards are like an auto tier 5, where it's like, oh, okay, you have to have a board for this card to do anything. I mean, this is really good when you do have a board. You kind of need 3 creatures for it. But let's say, like, you have 3 creatures, it's turn 5, you cast this twice, you give something double strike, lifelink, or you give 2 things double strike, your opponent takes like 15. Like, that's definitely on the board. It can be a top end threat. It feels more like a black-white type of card than a red-white type of card in this format. Uh, but definitely can do something. um, I don't know. I'm a little bit in the cowardice zone with this card. I wouldn't describe myself as excited about it. Primary research, 4 and a white, enchantment. When this enchantment enters, return target non-land permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. At the beginning of your end step, if a card left your graveyard this turn, draw a card. I think this card's like pretty busted. So if you just think about it, 5 mana 3/3, draw a card, right? Or five mana for a 3-drop, draw a card. It's pretty likely that by turn 5 you'll have something that has, mana value 3 or less in your graveyard if you're playing white. And not even turn 5 mana, which is usually turn 5.5 ish, or turn 6. Works with flashback. I don't know. This card just seems extremely good. This is just a draw engine that just is insane to me. Like you just play it. You get like again if you just had a 5 mana 3/3 that drew a card, that would be bad, right? Like it wouldn't be good, but it wouldn't be like so bad that you would be like, oh well, this it's embarrassing that I did this. And then just pretty much like every turn, I expect that you're gonna get to play like not every turn, but like I don't know, like every other turn you're drawing a card for the rest of the game. Like I don't know. This seems like an insane draw engine to me. This card just seems insane. We'll see. Might be wrong about it, but yeah. Quillblade Laureate, 1 and a white for a 1/1 with double strike. It enters prepared. At the sorcery, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains double strike until end of turn. Yeah, this is a good 2-drop. Like this 2-drop a lot. Double strike wears a lot of the spells well. It has a spell itself. Really like this card. Solid. Just a good 2. Rapier Wit. 1 and a white. For an instant, tap target creature. If it's your turn, put a stun counter on it. Draw a card. So we've had this style of card before, and it's like not usually great. I I don't hate it, I guess. I don't know. I assume that I may end up playing this at some point. It just feel like there's not. Usually these sort of like airy type spells that delay your stuff, the opponent's stuff for a turn, tend to be a little too slow, and that's what I'd be worried about here. Rehearse Debater, 3 and a white, or no, 3 and a white, 2 and a white for a 3/3 with Vigilance. Whenever you cast a spell, instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This is a very mediocre 3 drop. I don't think it's completely unplayable, but I will not be happy to play it, really. I'm not going to be happy about it. You can put this into your 5, I don't know. It's just hard for a 3-mana 3/3 to be like that bad, because like with a little bit of upside to be that bad, because like it does just attack and block, so, you know. Restoration Seminar, 5 white for a sorcery. Whenever return target on-land permanent from your graveyard to the battlefield, Paradigm. So basically, you get to cast a copy of this card every single turn for the rest of the game. You don't have to. You don't have to cast it, but you may cast it. So it's a lot like Epic, but just strictly better, basically. Um, they keep doing this where they take a mechanic that was like broken in the past and they make it like strictly better, but make the cards worse. Doesn't feel like the most interesting design space, but you know, here we are. We're doing it again, I guess. Um, this is a good effect. This is actually, I think, one of the better Paradigm cards. I have it in tier 4 because it's very slow. Like 7 mana, you probably get back a 4 drop or a 5 drop on average. Okay, you know, your opponent, there's exile spells, there's bounce spells, so like there's ways to get around it. Um, After you get to untap, you do get a guy back. You get another guy back. I don't know. This is probably good, especially because I mean, here's the thing, right? So black white probably doesn't want this card. That's the issue. That's the real problem. Is that black white? I'm not sure how good this is in black white because black white's all about like small creatures and they grow when you target stuff and like you're kind of trying to like fiddle with like targeting stuff and whatever. And like I don't know if this really plays super well with that. It definitely plays well in Boros. I just I don't think like, you'll never play this in the multicolor soup deck, which is going to be a deck that exists in this format. And like, what other deck are you playing it in? Um, Not so sure. You know, simply not so sure. Um, I don't know. I tier 4 seems a little low. Like you are getting a card that plays stuff from your graveyard for the rest of the game, which is probably fine. I'll put it in tier 3. Like if you just have the common that like makes a 1/1 flyer in your graveyard, this is probably pretty good, right? You just have one of those in there, you get that back, that gives you time, and then you can keep getting it back every turn. Basically, your opponent can't attack you. All right, maybe I'm talking myself up into even higher ratings because if you get that thing back, your opponent just like loses the game, right? Because they just can't ever attack you. You just get to have two chumpers every single turn, and they just can't ever kill you. I mean, that's a common card that's going to be in like pretty much every white deck. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. And you want to trade it off anyway? Okay. No, okay. No. All right, you know what? You know what? I'm in. I'm actually just in. I'm not gonna quite put it in tier 1 because it is slow, but I'm leaving it here. I've talked myself up on it, and maybe I'll be wrong. Shattered Acolyte, 1 and a white, 2/2 lifelink. You can pay 1 and sacrifice it to destroy target artifact or enchantment. Yeah, these are really nice 2 drops to have in your deck. You know, Cathar Commando type cards. Just always play pretty well. Lifelink is good on a 2 drop. Just sort of does everything. There are a lot of artifacts and enchantments that are going to be around. So yeah. Soaring Stone Glider, 2 and a white, 4/3. Additional cost to cast the spell. Exile 2 cards from your graveyard or pay 1 and a white, and it has flying and vigilance. Yeah, I mean I like this card. Rate is kind of rate no matter when it is in the game. This allows you to exile stuff from your graveyard, which maybe you want to be doing, maybe not. There can be awkwardness where like you put like flashback cards in there, and then you're sad. It's pretty sad. I'd be sad if that were happening to me. Like, you don't want to be able to like get rid of your flashback cards to cast this, but sometimes you will. So 5 mana for a 4/3 with flying and vigilance is not very good, but it's not completely terrible. Tier 3 is maybe a bit rich. Yeah, it's probably a bit rich because it doesn't play super well and it just dies to removal. And it's like 5 mana 4/3 flyer. And exiling 2 cards and stuff, but Terramorphic Expanse exists in this set, so like actually that actually makes it so much easier to cast this at some frequency because that just gets into the graveyard and then you have a 1 or a 2 drop that trades off. Alright, I'm gonna leave it in tier 3 and we're gonna be a little bit bold today. Be a little daring today. Spirit Call Enthusiast, 2 and a white for a 3/3. Whenever one or more tokens you control enter, this creature becomes prepared. A lot of ways, as we've seen, to make tokens. The prepared spell gives 1 or 2 target creatures +2/+2 until end of turn as a sorcery. It's 2 mana. I mean, this is pretty nice, honestly. The problem is it's just a 3 mana 3/3 that does nothing when you cast it, which I don't like, and that's why it's in tier 3 instead of tier 2. Right? Like, you put it in tier 2 because, oh, I got all the tokens, I'm doing the thing, but at the end of the day, it's a 3 mana 3/3. And that's not amazing, so gotta keep that in mind. Stand up for yourself. 2 mana white, instant destroy target creature with power 3 or greater. So power 3 or greater is less good than toughness 3 or greater. Like, toughness 3 or greater is much better. You'd rather have that. There's a lot of stuff in this set that's kind of small but grows. And this is like pretty bad against that stuff because like if you're killing a 2-drop that started out as like a 1/3 and then it grows to be like a 3/5, this kills it, but you're trading down on mana. Obviously, like, your opponent had to do stuff to grow it, but usually the stuff they're doing is not fantastic. So I'm not in love with this card. I think it's fine removal, but I'm the second copy of it starts getting a little dangerous. Like, it's reverse Vanquish the Weak, right? Guy who remembers what the text on Vanquish the Weak is. But 3 is a lot of power. 3 is a lot of power. You gotta have a lot of power. So I don't know. The second copy of this seems maybe not the most exciting. Stirring Hopesinger, 2 and a white for a 1/3 with flying and lifelink. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Very good. Very, very good. It is a 3 mana 1/3. It's a 3 mana 1/3, which is pretty bad. But we've seen, there's a couple of 3 and 4 mana commons that, like, they have cheap spells, and then like, you can play this on turn 5 or turn 4 and like cast this and then a 1 mana spell, and then it triggers immediately, so that's really, really good. I don't know if I want to move it to tier 1 though. It's really good when it works. It just also is I mean, 3 mana for a 1/3 with flying and lifelink, pretty good anyway. You just play it as your 3-drop, but it's not a complete disaster. I'd be sad. My opponent would probably kill it, and I'll be sad. I'd be crying. That'd be a shame if my opponent killed this. I guess you just don't play it on turn 3 all that much. You just play it on turn 5 when you can do it plus a spell. And that's really good when you do that. Like, really good when you do that. Pretty insane. It's pretty insane. Yeah, no, it's pretty insane when you do that. So you just go wide. I just am simply going wide, I think. It's kind of a house. I kind of want to move it up to tier 1. It's pretty sick. Like, you'll play it in red white, you'll definitely play it in black white. Multicolor deck, maybe no. Maybe not. Maybe we'll leave it in tier 2 because it's not great in the multicolor deck. I don't know. But then I have a bunch of double pip cards in tier 1. So, like, those aren't good in the multicolor deck either, but they're very powerful in the white decks. Freaking, I'm supposed to figure this out, man. I'm supposed to be the guy who figures this out. I'm leaving it in tier 2. Fine. Stone Dawsant. 1 and a white for a 3/1. You can pay a white to exile it from your graveyard. You gain 2 life, surveil 1. Activate only as a sorcery. This is really nice. This is a nice common. If you get a 2-drop that gains you life and surveils out of your graveyard. It triggers graveyard leave stuff. It's a spirit. I really have no notes about this. It's just good. It's kind of like your bread and butter 2-drop. I'm very happy to play this. The one thing is, if green black is actually a deck, this card gets a lot worse because of all the pests. I suspect that green black, according to tradition, it was not a deck. So will it be a deck this time? We'll see. I don't. I have my doubts about it being a real deck. So this card does suffer from the if green black is a real deck, this gets worse effect, but I don't think it's ever gonna be bad. Like terrible, terrible. And the last white card, Summoned Dromedary. 3 and a white, 4/3 with vigilance, and you can pay 1 and a white to return it from your graveyard to your hand, activate only as a sorcery. So kinda cool. I don't think you really need this or want this. There's not actually that much self-mill in white. So, like, Boros may have a hard. If I kind of wish there was like a little bit more ability for Boros to self mill. I understand it's not like Color Pie whatever adjacent, so it's going to be a little tough. But if they just had like one common that was like, oh, mill yourself. They have the. I guess they have the flashback common that draws and discard like the looting card, so that helps a little bit. I don't think this is unplayable. I actually kind of like it. Um, I originally had it in tier 3 and then I moved it down. Because, like, you're not playing this in black-white. Like, you're just not doing it. So you'll only play it in red-white, probably. And even then, like, are you really prioritizing it? No. So I'm gonna leave it in tier 4. I think it's a cool design. I like the design, actually. I'm happy with it. It's usually these are like two twos that come back, and then you play them again, and it just kind of sits there. This is kind of a beater. So you play this as a 4-drop, and then it attacks, it blocks, and then you bring it back, and it can just kind of keep being a beater. I don't really think that's good enough in a Strixhaven set. Like, I think you kind of have to be going a little more over the top than just keep playing a 4/3 every turn to win the game. But I kind of like the card, but I'm being pessimistic. And that is it. It's a short section. Not that many monocolored cards in the set, so stay tuned. I will see you in the next one.